Hey witches, it is just Spellbound here. Happy Wednesday. I hope you all had a good, nice long weekend. I know I did. It was nice to have 3 days, considering I am on the school calendar, so I was able to have off. So I hope you're all doing well and, hopefully not everybody's still in quarantine or in such a horrendous lockdown anymore. But if you are, stay strong. It'll hopefully be over soon. So this week we are talking about hexes and curses. So here's my, 2 cents on it. I do think that there is certainly a time and a place for hexing and cursing. I think that if, how am I going to say this? I think that if something so heinous has been done that it brings into your mind doing a hex on somebody or a curse on somebody, make sure you word things properly. Make sure that you are using the right ingredients. If you are writing your own curse or hex, which I highly suggest if you are in the mood to do one, or if you feel the desire to do one. Saying in the mood to do one, it made it frivolous, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. But if you think that that is a course that you have to take, then make sure you cross your T's and dot your I's very literally. And if you are writing a petition, if you are doing a full-on ritual, however you choose to go about it, make sure it is done with the utmost the best wording, the most concise. Don't make it too lengthy and frivolous, because I think that some of the effect of it gets lost in translation. And make sure that you are doing it for a very, very good reason. Don't just be like, my neighbor pissed me off today. This is my opinion. I'm sure there are going to be other people out there that are like, forget, throw a hex on them, I don't work that way. For me, a curse or a hex is something that has to be done when there is no other option left, when there is an energy around you, a person around you, that there is nothing else you can do. You have tried everything else, and this is the last resort. And like I said, make sure you're doing your research. I don't think that necessarily newbies should be just being like, oh, I'm going to curse whoever. Because I think that in order to get a good grip of the tools you're working with, right? Because the layering of a spell, the layering of a curse, the layering of a hex is what's going to make it dig in. The more you think about it as the more weight you lay on top of something, right, it kind of sinks down. So you want to add that weight. You want to add to your... My dogs are playing. He's really not hurt. He's fine. He's just tiny. River. Make sure that you're layering properly and do it. Try. I know this is hard because of the context of what you're looking at working in, right? A hex or a curse, but hexes and curses can still be done in a what's best for all position. They can still be done to where you're not doing something shallow. It's not something frivolous. I think I've said that. I'm sorry, he's chewing a comb. Just there goes the comb. But make sure that you're really putting in the work on your side to try and lessen any adverse effects it may have for you, because things can always come around and bite you in the butt. I'm not talking about like the Wiccan read or anything like that. Like, this is just how I view life. What you put out, you get back. If you're a nice person, people are nice to you. If you are a crappy person, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a miserable life. Don't be a miserable person. So in my mind, for me, witchcraft works the same way. If you go into something putting out negativity, there is always the chance that you are going to receive negativity. Again, just my viewpoint on life in general, overall, encompassing idea of life. That's how it works. So it's got nothing to do with my religious prospect or my religious lookout, but just in an overall life scheme. So, I do believe that there certainly are times and places for hexes and for curses and bindings and things like that. They don't come around very often, which is why I'm kind of putting the disclaimer out to make sure that is something that you want, that you really want to do, that all else has failed. Talking to other people, venting, because sometimes I think that people turn to hexes and curses as a way of emotionally dealing with things, at least in my experience working with other people and talking with others about this. It's kind of in a desperation, in a way of thinking that a hex or a curse on somebody is going to somehow relieve the emotional ties or the emotional binds that are holding on to you, and that is not the case. So if it is a hex and a curse are not going to erase your feelings. They're going to ensure the other person fill in the blank, but they're not going to do anything to you. It is not going to have any effect on your feelings. You may feel better afterwards because you feel like you took some control back, but the feelings that have led up to that, to you doing a curse, to you doing a hex, are not going to go away. That's only going to go away with either A, time, B, shadow work, and just knowing yourself and being comfortable enough to talk with other people. So if there's something going on that you feel a desperation to hurt somebody the way that they hurt you, or send pain back, just do a little, I'm not talking about the whole enchilada of shadow work, but do a little bit of inner searching and find out why it is you want to do that. Because for me, I know it seems silly because we're talking about curses and hexes, but for me, it can't come from a place of they're revenge spells, I think, for the most part. And if you voyage into that, just be careful. Make sure if you are new, even if you're seasoned and don't understand hex work and, hexes and cursing and all that, make sure you reach out to somebody who knows, somebody who's more knowledgeable, before you set those in place, because once they're done, they're very, very hard to undo, unless, again, like I was saying, if you work into your work, if you work into your spell work a time limit, a time stamp, that it should go on for X amount until the new moon, until the dark moon, until the full moon, whatever. But just be very precise in your wording and in your intention. And I would suggest, before jumping into any kind of hexing or cursing, that you do a little bit of shadow work, figure out why you're having the feelings that you're having, and ask for help if you need it. Help is always here. And if you watch our channel, we are always more than happy to help and to guide. So if you're feeling a little bit lost, and I think that for me, in my opinion, personally and professionally with this, is that normally people don't need a curse. Normally they need someone to listen. So on that note, we are always here. And if you choose to hex, to curse, hex away, just be safe. Practice safe hex. Oh, the wiggles fingers. Okay, you guys, I've got to go. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time. Bye.